Oh, I'm really sorry. Okay, so three things. So first, what I said I was going to talk about that people had highlighted before was French seams and pockets. So I've done a couple of little samples for those, so I can show you those. I've actually made a little change to the dimensions, because I had one lady, I don't think she's here, no. One lady messaged me about 2 days ago saying, and because her the gusset was quite low, like it was quite long, so she had a lot of weight, lot up on the waist, and I'm a bit worried that people were maybe measuring right from where your actual kind of like the thin bit of your waist is, rather than where you want because you probably don't want the top of the pajamas all the way up that high. So I've slightly changed that measurement a little bit and had another practice, and it works really well. So I have made that little change. So if you follow the link, it's a live link, the one that I sent to everybody before. And if you want to save it out, if you'd like to make, if it works for you, I mean, for me, for my size, it works both ways, but I just made a very slight change so that it will, if that was a problem, then that will overcome that problem for anybody else. So follow the same link as last time, and it will take you to the same document. If you just make a copy again, or whatever it is, and then it will override that last one. So there's that. But before I get started on pockets and French seams, is there anything else that anybody's got any other questions before I get going on those things? Anything else that anybody wanted to mention and wanted me to go through? Or shall I just crack on? Crack on. If anything crops up throughout, then just stop me. There's a very nice small group, so you can just unmute yourself and ask me, or pop it in the chat, whatever you're most comfortable with. Okay, so pockets wise, okay, so ordinarily if you do a pocket that's kind of like inside a seam, you obviously need a side seam to do that. And with this pajama pattern, there's no, because I wanted to make it as simple as possible, of course. So you've only got, oh, here's another one. You've only got the seam down the front and the back, the front and the back. There's no seam down the side. So we can't do on these just going to spotlight myself. There we go. We can't do a pocket that goes kind of in like that. So it has to be a pocket that sits on top of the fabric. So there's a couple of options. There's one really obvious option, which is just a patch pocket. And I've done it. Oh, hang on. I think it's okay now. It's patch pocket like this. So it's just a pocket on top of everything else. So for that, you literally cut a square or a rectangle, whatever shape and size that you'd like. I hope you can see it. I've tried really hard to match the pattern so that you can't see, but I've left the pins in. But with that, so you literally cut a rectangle or a square the size, or you could do a curved bottom if you want. That looks really nice. You fold the top over, so just the top over. I've done it like a double 1.5 centimeter hem. So folded that over twice and do a line of stitching just up from the bottom. Hey, you know what? You could do that so that it's the other way around and make a little feature of that hem folding over if you wanted to. And then around the other 3 sides, you just fold it in. And I've only done it by about probably just under 1 centimeter on those other 3 sides. Fold it in towards the wrong side and then pin it onto your pajamas wherever you'd like them to go. And it is really nice to try and do a bit of pattern matching if you can, and then pin it on. And then the stitch line that you do, so you've pressed it, so at the moment we've just pressed that hem in on each of those 3 sides, and then the stitch line, if you just press it the first time round and then have the stitch line as the line that you do when you're actually sewing it onto the shorts, it means you've only got 1 stitch line. If you were to do another stitch line beforehand, you'd have 2, which wouldn't look quite so nice. Now that type of patch pocket, I actually think would really look really nice on the back, perhaps more than the front. I mean, you could do so much. If you did have it on the front, you could maybe do like a little bit of embroidery or something on it. That would look really cute. But I would probably do one of these types of pockets on the back, especially if you're doing it. I had one lady who sent me a picture of hers that she'd made, and she's not going to use them as pajama shorts. They were really nice floaty fabric. She can use them as summer shorts, kind of quite culotte summer shorts. They looked really nice, so it would be nice to have pockets for those. And then the other type of pocket that I've done, if any of you did the summer dress workshop, Leslie, I know you did, yes, that I did before, the same type of pocket for that actually works really well for these ones as well. So I've not managed to pattern match quite so well. You can tell I've not pressed any of these things because they're not sitting beautifully, but you get the idea. So again, so for that one, it's really the same principle as this patch pocket over here, but instead of cutting you do cut a rectangle first of all, and then you need to slice the corner off the rectangle. It's whatever size you want it to be, but you need to make sure that you've got enough space to put your hand in and for it to be kind of deep enough. So you just cut a rectangle out and then slice the corner off. Just for context, this one is, when I cut it originally, it was about 16 centimeters wide by about 22 to 23 centimeters long. And then exactly the same principles. So the side where the hand goes in, so the kind of the open side of the pocket, you fold that over first, a double hem, and then so I just did a double 1 centimeter hem and then stitched that in place, just so that's nice and neat. And then for the other 4 sides this time, so a little one up here, down, across, and then up, I just folded it in towards the wrong side and pressed it. Well, I didn't press it, but I would ordinarily, you should. I would usually pressed it so that was nice and flat, and then placed it onto the shorts, pattern matching if you can, and then pin it and then stitch. Obviously you've just got to make sure that the actual shorts are nice and flat, so kind of spread out that elastic, and then stitch across, down, and stitch maybe like 0.5 centimeter in, so that you're catching that hem all the way around. And you can, and I do that at the end. I'd do it after you've put the elastic on, because it's pretty easy just to kind of open it out. Oh my God, look, I've done no pattern matching on this pair. It really makes me shudder a bit to look at them. Anyway, it's just a sample pair, it's fine. Although I probably still will wear them. I put the pockets like this on at the end after you've got the elastic in, because then you'll know exactly where you want them positioning. You want to make sure, you know, they're not too far around and not too close to the front, and you'll only be able to know that once you're actually wearing them. Yes, so that's the best way to do pockets for these. One other thing that just sprang to mind, actually, there was another little change that I made on the instructions, and that was that I've made them slightly longer, because I thought, do you know what, it's better that people can make, if you cut them and they're too short, then that's annoying. I mean, you could add another band on and make a contrasting turn up or something, but it's annoying. So I made them a little bit longer, and then I've changed the wording, so it says try them on. Once you've done your elasticated waist and you've done everything else, all you've got left is to do the leg hems. And I said, try them on and, you know, have a look in the mirror and check where you'd like the leg hems to be, and then fold up 1 centimeter and then another 1 to 2 centimeters ish, depending on how short you want them to be. So that's another little change update that I've done to the pattern since last time. Okay, so the next thing is French seams. So I had a little practice with this because I thought, oh, I want to see what works best. Just see. The other camera's not quite so good. I'm going to see which one works best for this. Oh, not plugged in. Hang on a moment. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Okay, I think we're all right. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we've got 2 seams really on the inside. We've got this, I'll show you on the yellow ones first, actually, because you can see that they are not French seamed at all. So you've got the seam that goes like all the way down the front. This one here, I've not finished this one at all. I just went straight in, all the way down the front, across the gusset and all the way up the back, that one there. And you've got the seam that crosses it to go down. Oops, there's a pin in here. Go away. The seam that crosses it to go like down the two legs. So as you can see, nothing is French seamed at all in here. I've not finished anything at all. What I would do if I had more time, and I could even go back, is zigzag, or you could overlock those ones. Although this fabric is such a fine weave, it's such good quality gingham, it's so beautiful, it's not going to fray too much anyway. So you might even get away with it with those, because it's really good quality fabric. I'm just going to unpin these pockets now, because I don't want those pins to get in the way. Hang on a mo. Oopsie. Okay, so what I did on this pair was if we do first of all, the seam that goes all the way down the back and up the front. On this side, I didn't French seam it. As you can see, I just stitched it regularly. And then on this one, I did do a French seam. So you can see there's no raw edges. All of the raw edges here are encapsulated in it. And actually, because it is a reasonably, like, it's a short and quite gentle curve that's going, what do you call it, like acute rather than obtuse sort of thing, you get away with it. You get away with that absolutely fine. So to do that bit, where's mine? Here we go. Got some other pieces of fabric prepared, ready to show you. Oops. Hang on a mo. There we go. Okay. There we go. Right, so this is cut and ready to go. So it's a bit tricky to show you, because this is you can see I love gingham. I just find I don't know, really like it at the moment, and it is very forgiving, because you've got nice woven straight lines to follow. But say this is the wrong side facing me, and then this is the say this is the right side facing me, and it's the wrong side on the inside. So normally, if you're stitching something down here like this, you do it right sides facing. And we said 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. But if we were to do this with a French seam, we have wrong sides facing. So this is the right side facing upwards. So it feels very alien. If you had a fabric which was, was a pattern that you could see really very easily tell the wrong side and the right side, that would feel very alien to be stitching it like this with the right side facing out. But for a French seam, that's what we want to do. So I'll quickly do that now. Just pin down. Okay, so I'm going to sew with a ½ centimetre seam allowance, a scant ½ centimetre actually, just to be on the safe side. So just pop that under my machine. There's my paddle. I've used yellow thread this time, so hopefully you can see the stitching a bit better. Okay. Okay, so I've stitched, there we go, and we've got the right sides facing out. And that is lovely. What you could do is a couple of snips in here if you wanted to with your scissors. Here are my scissors. Here we go. you've just got to be really careful because we've only got 0.5 centimetre, and you don't want to stitch too close to your stitching. So just do a few quite small snips just on that curved bit, just to help with the bulk of the fabric. And then we're going to turn the fabric right sides together, which feels much more natural. There we go. And so all of our seam allowances are going to be concealed in here. And because we only did 0.5 centimetre, a scant 0.5 centimetre, it means that you're not going to be able to see any of those tufty bit of those raw edges when we turn it out the right way, which you'll be able to see in a minute. So ordinarily what I would do is press this, but I'm just going to like finger press it now so that it saves a bit of time. If you are, because this works well for this, so it wouldn't work on a curved edge if you were doing a French seam quite so well if you had a thicker or heavier fabric, but for this type of garment, you're not going to have a thick and heavy fabric. You might, I suppose you might have something which was a little bit like a, you know, like a kind of a tartany, like a brushed cotton or something, but that's still quite lightweight. So I think you should be fine with something like that. What you could do just now, so if you have got something a little bit heavyweight, just now when I was doing those little snips on that curved bit, you could even trim slightly, so that you trimmed off a little bit of the seam allowance so that you were closer to your line of stitching around that little bit if you wanted to, and that would remove a bit of the bulk so that it just sat a bit more evenly. But you should be okay. As you can see, I mean, it's really like nice and flat. So press it at this point and then do another line of stitching, but this time 1 centimetre. So then we've still got our 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, but rather than having it as like an open regular seam, we've got a nice French seam. Whoop. There we go. So there's my 1 centimetre mark.
I got in after 20 minutes.
Oh, dear.
That was that.
Sleeping there.
Oh, I'm not surprised. That was what I bought for Shani when I looked for all the vegan ones.
Thank you.
Take it if you want. I don't want any more, thanks. What's the score?
There we go.
No.
Oh,
Or somebody's not
Oh,
on.
sweet.
You.
I was hoping
No.
it finished when I went up.
you don't need to watch it. It's not compulsory.
No.
There we go. Okay. Just realised actually, I don't know if that was, this is during the England match, isn't it? I hope I'm not, I mean, I'm not fussed at all. Hopefully you guys are. Well, I mean, obviously you're not, or else you wouldn't be here. Just realised that, sorry. Well, maybe you're pleased. Sorry if you're not. Oh dear, I wonder, what? Does anyone know, are we winning? I haven't even looked. Right, there we go. So that's really lovely. And then when we open it up, you can see, so it just sits, it's absolutely fine. So I would actually probably recommend that. I'm probably not going to add it onto the instructions because if you don't know how to do a French seam, I don't want you to attempt it. But if you watch this and you're happy to do that, then definitely do that as your French seam for that seam down the front. So down along those two curved edges, the front and the back. However, the other seam that crosses over had a bit of a practice, and I did a French seam on that one as well. And that I don't think is quite as successful, because it means that in places here you've got loads and loads of layers of fabric, and it makes it harder for the kind of the leg seams to go down to, it just doesn't sit quite as nicely. If you've got really, really thin fabric, like say if you've got like a Liberty Tana lawn or something that quite thin, but still cotton and easy to sew, then you might be okay. But I mean, these will be fine. It will be all right, but it's just not sitting quite. I mean, it might be okay once it's pressed, but it's just because of all of this bulk and there's more kind of going on, it's struggling a bit for the legs to fall down quite as naturally and as neatly. So I would probably, for that second hem that's going across and down the legs, I'd probably prefer to do a regular seam with a zigzag all the way down those ones. If you think about it, when you've got your shorts on, it's really like the seam that goes around the behind, which is going to get the most strain when you're like sitting down or like walking or running or whatever. So it's much better because a French seam has a lot more, it can withstand quite a lot more stresses and movement, so it's much stronger, so it's great. So actually for that seam that goes down the back and up the front, it's great to have a French seam. But for the one that goes up legs kind of across the middle and down again, that one's not going to get half as much sort of movement and stress. So I would say, just to keep it a little bit neater, keeping everything hanging a bit more neatly, that for that second seam that goes across, just do that one as a regular seam with a zigzag. It's up to you. It would be okay, and as long as you press it and everything, but I just don't think it sits quite as nice and neatly. Yeah, they're the two main things I wanted to talk about, really. We got a... Oh, yeah, they do. Honestly, I've been getting all my fabrics from Fabrics Galore at the moment. And that, so when I asked them for that discount for everybody, it's not an affiliate or anything. It's like, you know, I don't get anything back from it. So it's very genuinely just like a nice discount for everybody, but they just have really good fabrics, and they're so lovely. They're really nice people, and they send everything really quickly. So yeah, I love it. I got the ones I made last time, the little ones with the stars on, that double gauze, that was from there as well. Okay, anything else you'd like me to go through? Has anybody else got any other questions? Are you all okay? Anything else?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll love you and leave you then if there's definitely nothing else. I don't want to feel like I've shortchanged you, so please ask away. Anything else sewing related? Oh, here we go. Oh, hi, Jenny. Yeah, if there's anything else sewing related, recommendations on machines, I get that asked quite often. Anything else? I just made a list of projects I'm going to be making in the run up to Christmas. Just really nice little simple and giftable, cheap and quick to make things, sewing-y and crafty type gifts to make for people. So I'll start sharing those over the next few days. I'm going to try my best and share one every couple of days. I've made a list long enough. And often just using like little scraps of fabric and stuff. So because I'm trying my best to make lots of gifts this year. So yeah, I'll start sharing those. They won't all be on the emails. I'll try and put some of them on the emails, but if you're following me on social media, that's probably where I'll put most of them. Yeah. Okay, well that's it, I think then. And like usual, if you've got any other things that you'd like to make in the new year, let me know. I've had loads more requests for to redo the dress one, so I'll probably redo that one next year as well. And I have got a top, like a camisole type top that goes with this, so I'll do that at some point as well. Oh, and I also thought I'll probably do a bag, like a kind of as a bag with a zip in, so that's a really nice technique for people to work on as well. So I'll do that probably in the new year too. But I've also, one of the projects I'm going to do over the next few days is a bag. They've got some amazing, it's not in here I don't think, really chunky corduroy. It's really soft and quite robust and comes in amazing colours. on Fabrics Galore. So I've ordered it in 3 different colours to make a really nice little kind of over the shoulder bag, because that's a really nice gift for people. I'm planning on making those. You see, this is great. Not only am I making lovely things to share with everybody, but I'm ticking people off my Christmas list at the same time. So I'll do that one just as a shared project for free, but then I'll do it a bit more in depth, like these types of things in the new year for a zippy kind of an overnighter bag. But yeah, okay, right, I'll stop rambling. If there's definitely nothing else, then I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm so sorry again that I kept you waiting for a little bit at the beginning, but yeah, Merry Christmas everybody. Thank you so much. I hope this has been okay, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.